Hello everyone, and as has become kind of a thing I do on my channel, we're going over the dev update, the first one of the year, and this also is marking my re-entry back into Dead by Daylight. I'm hoping this week I might actually get out a Dead by Daylight stream, hopefully. But I'm actually playing a little bit more in my time off recently as well. So I'm actually getting back into playing Dead by Daylight again. Alright, so Happy New Year! Our team is back in action, and we've got a doozy of a developer update in store for you today. In this edition, we'll be covering everything coming to Dead by Daylight and our first major update on our year from various killer perks, maps, and various killers, perks, and map updates, and more. That flows a bit weirdly. And we've been busy, so buckle up. It's a long one. Good. Alright, so generators kicking thing off, no pun intended, with a few updates to generators. More specifically, these changes target how generators are damaged by the killer and how their aggression can be stopped by survivors. The goal in this update is to bring an end to an excessively long match, 3-gen scenarios in particular, and at the same time improve the killer's ability to damage generators. 3-gen scenarios are those where the killer aims to defend 3 generators that are close in particular and does not participate in normal gameplay, not chasing survivors. In this instance, survivors are not able to make any meaningful progress to those generators. Going forward, each generator can only suffer from a maximum of 8 regression events, where a regression event is any time the killer or their perks moves at least 2.5% of the generator's progress in an instant. An indicator will show that the killer if a generator can no longer be damaged. In the overwhelming majority of the games, this will not come into play. However, in scenarios where the killer is defending a set of generators and refuses to chase survivors, there will be eventually come a point where they can no longer damage generators, helping bring an end to an excessively long match. Okay. So, I mean, each generator can only be at a maximum of 8 times. That is a lot of times. I want you guys to realize that. Keep in mind, if you're running perks that base on downs for your aggression, such as Eruption's in a bit of an interesting spot, because I believe it makes you lose regression, but you have to kick a gen for it as well. So Eruption procs 2 times, so you can only Eruption a gen like 4 times, for example. But if you're running Surge, you'd have to down 8 people within the radius of the generators to, keep proccing it with pop or whatnot. This honestly, like, you get a lot of regression on a gen for 8 regression events, especially if you're not dry kicking. If you're kicking with perks like pop, if you're inflicting it with stuff like pain resonance, stuff like surge, you're getting a lot of regression out of those. This honestly, I think, really only hurts if you dry kick a gen. That's not bad at all. At the same time, we want to address a point of frustration of killers as well. Survivors walking in generators briefly to stop it from aggressing, or gen tapping for short. Given the number of the aggression events are now limited, stopping a generator from aggressing is more meaningful than ever. To prevent survivors from tapping a generator to negate one of these regression events, we've made 2 changes. The base damage of kicking a generator has been increased to 5%. At least 5% of the generator's total charges must be repaired to stop aggression, otherwise it'll begin regressing again the survivor stops repairing. This happens to that the killer always gets some value from kicking a generator and encourages survivors to think twice before attempting to stop their aggression. Okay. Not bad, honestly. I guess the thing I'd say on that is that I've always thought that it would be a good idea to actually give almost like a base kit ruin to killers, in a sense. Making it so that gens will always regressing, but remove the option to kick. In my opinion, well, unless you had like a perk, like Pop Goes the Weasel, for example. In my opinion, I felt that would be a healthier change, so that it would always... this is something that we're going towards, I guess, Kicks always remove a base 5%. That is not bad, especially when you mix it with other things. That does make kicking a bit more meaningful as well. So I guess they're more meaningful, but can happen less often. And you have to repair back what's lost. So that, you see, that is interesting because this does, gen tapping is usually also used against certain perks. So this really hits certain perks. Like, I'm not sure how those are going to work. Like, for example, Overcharge, for example. I believe it, well, if I remember correctly in how it works now, it increases the time at which a generator goes down. Just getting rid of the skill check, stop that, or does it still go even if you haven't, because you haven't done the 5%? That's what I'm curious about. Alright. Not bad. FOV settings. Alright, in Shadowborn permanently locked into one of your perk slots. Well, it's about to change thanks to the new first-person field of view FOV slider. Starting with this update, killer in first-person would be able to adjust the FOV to something they're more comfortable with range of 87, the current default to 103, the current maximum with Shadowborn. Perks, which alter your FOV, shadow, and mental abuse, will need to be adjusted. We'll cover how this perks change later in this post. Bear in mind this option only applies to first-person field of view and therefore will not affect survivors, since survivors play the game in third-person perspective, a wider FOV would add to an already advantageous camera view. Initially, this feature will be accessible through the beta tab. I hope that they also plan to like add more, I guess, just in case more is needed, or at least consider it. I don't know how much that really is, but we may need to see more. I don't know. I'm not someone who really deals with this as like a problem. The Onyo. The Onyo? Oh no. The Onryo. A few months ago, we released a major update to the Onryo. There are some players who were pleased with the changes. Many long-time Onryo mains felt their gameplay had changed too much than the killer they'd once loved. In this update, we want to visit Sadako once more to find a middle ground which better appears to all her players old and new. Yes, please make her not the most miserable thing to go against. In the last update, Condemned would spread to all survivors who were not holding a tape whenever Sadako projected to a TV. This allowed her to spread her curse more often, but many felt that this favored teleporting as soon as possible rather than strategically during chase. With a few changes in mind to restore the gameplay while keeping Condemned more prominent. When the Onryo teleports, survivors within 16 meters of a power TV will receive a stack of Condemned. The teleport cooldown has been removed, allowing her to teleport more frequently. When a survivor is hooked, their current Condemned progress becomes locked in, preventing it from being removed. It's meant to ignore curse. Survivors want to shut off nearby TVs and. So wait, so when the survivor's hooked, it's locked in, preventing it. Is it ever? Does that just mean ever? Ooh, I don't know if I like that. We also viewed the way curse tapes work to bring back some of the fondly remembered behaviors. Curse tapes no longer protect survivors from gaining Condemned. Curse tapes are no longer destroyed or inflict Condemned when a survivor is hit. Curse tapes can only be deposited in the first TV from where they were picked up. Once again, force survivors to spend their time crossing the map in order to delay the curse. Okay. Demanifestation. Previous update made it so that the Onryo can start a chase while demanifested. This has a side effect of making it very obvious when she's demanifested in the middle of chase, allowing survivors to anticipate and play around it. Now she can chase survivors while demanifested. Additionally, many pointed out that the Onryo changed add-ons Rico's Watch was very fun to use. Rather than add the effect back into the add-on, we instead incorporated it into a base kit to make the add-on feel less essential. The duration of invisibility has been increased to 1.2, was 1 second. Okay. We viewed a handful of add-ons with no longer purpose, or, okay, so there are add-on changes, but they're not, like, going over that right now. Okay, noted. So I guess to go over how I feel about these changes, making it so that not everyone gains it is good, so it's only within 16 meters. Without no teleport cooldown, that's not bad. I'm not sure how I feel about the Condemned being locked, because I'm assuming that means even like tapes, like you can't remove it at all, period, which I have a feeling may still lead to a pretty big problem where someone can get up really close, like, you know, 5, 6 when they get hooked because they're just forced into a chase and not able to like delay it down. While the Onryo just waits for them to get up really high, then hook them so it's locked in and they can't get rid of it anymore. And then basically any misplay, any misstep they make, they'll be put up to that 7th stack or whatnot, and then downed and killed. I really have a feeling this may lead to a very big problem of something like that happening, because it will kind of, again, I don't know. This feels like incentivized tunneling someone if you can get them to high Condemned, so you can just keep getting them Condemned, just add a little bit more and then kill them. I don't like this change at all. I think that is a very bad change. I could be wrong, but that feels like it might lead to very unhealthy playstyle still with this goddamn killer. Curse tape no longer protecting survivors from gaining Condemned, and no longer destroyed or inflicting Condemned on hit. They can only be fought. These are like, I don't know. I really don't think it being locked in, being prevented from being removed is a good idea. I'm worried about this change. Watch Out Survivors looks like someone unwrapped a brand new chainsaw. It's a Hellway turn for an update. The controversial overheat mechanic is no more. Woo! We've won! Overdrive is the new talk in town. As the Hellway uses its chainsaw, it will generate heat just like before. When the heat meter is full, not only will continue being able to use it, but its chainsaw will kick into overdrive and gain the following effects for the next 20 seconds. Charge speed is increased by 5%, his chainsaw movement speed is increased to 13 meters, and chainsaw sprint cooldowns are reduced by 10%. The short version, heat is good now. Okay, so overheat is no more, so you're not punished for using your power. You're actually kind of benefited for it. Interesting. At the same time, we made some general improvements to Hellboy's kit and smoothed out some of his rougher edges. Base sprint movement speed has been increased by 10%, reduced the size of the chainsaw collision detection to make it feel more maneuverable in maps with high density tires, and camera sensitivity is no longer incorrectly tied to the controller sensitivity setting while using a mouse and keyboard. Chainsaw controls are now equal to 100% sensitivity before. Okay. Last but not least, we've done an add-on pass with add-ons with these changes in mind. The blog post is long enough as it is, so keep an eye on the patch notes when the PTB goes live. Yeah, we're gonna wanna go over the add-ons when this comes out, but this is huge. Overheat has been a bane of Billy players' existence for ages. Seeing that they finally listened to the community and actually gotten rid of this goddamn mechanic that's been in the game for years is a beautiful thing to hear. We may be seeing the glory of Billy be returning soon, especially with this add-on pass. Oh my god, please give this man good add-ons. He has some of the worst add-ons in the game because most of his add-ons do fucking nothing. He's got like 3 good add-ons, seriously. Blight add-ons. Alright, here we go. Next up, changes in store for the handful of the Blight add-ons. Blighted Rat and Blighted Crow. Those are his speed add-ons. These add-ons are fairly strong, making it far more difficult to move out of the rush in time. We've reduced the rush speed bonus in the add-ons to 2 and 3% instead of 4 and 6. So even stacked, you couldn't get... Okay, you know what? He deserves it. Speed add-ons were one of the most busted fucking add-ons in the game. So, yeah, those have been nerfed down pretty heavily and honestly deserved. Adrenaline and Vial. And then there's a lot going on, making it a jack of all trades. It really does. Bringing it close to 9 to Earth, we are removing the following effects. It no longer decreases time to recharge, and no longer increases rust speed. Good. These add-ons notice the following. These are unchanged. So it just increases it by 2, increases your maximum rust look angle, and decreases your rust tone. Okay. That's fine. It's at least been enough to a degree. Alright. So, Alchemist Ring, this one, Paramount Spicy and this, restoring rust tokens on hit is incredibly powerful, so we've worked it entirely. Increased restoration. Oh, thank God. You know, restoration is still a really good thing, but you don't have to, he just doesn't get his power back immediately because he can and catch up to you. That's good. That add-on was fucking horrible. Reduce the survivor's movement speed, acts very similarly to decreasing the Blight's rush speed. Decided the best course of action is to give the add-on a new effect. Each consecutive rush, which is longer than 4 meters, increases the turn rate by 33%. Interesting. So it's like very much focused on like flick like, okay, interesting. I mean, yeah. That fucking part of it really was annoying. Iridescent Blight Tag. The sound can also be extremely powerful in the right hands. It also promotes the awkward gameplay of repeatedly slamming into a wall. Take advantage of the effects of the last rush. We've given this add-on a brand new effect as well. Enabling rush to be formed without spending tokens. Rush bonuses are capped after 3 consecutive... What? Goes on cooldown for 20 seconds after a successful least short... Wait, what the Enables rush to be performed without spending... Okay, so... You can just constantly rush, but you don't get any more bonuses after the 3rd one. And then it goes on 20 seconds after... What the fuck? That is... Ooh, that's an interesting one. That changes his power completely. That's super interesting. Ooh, I think we need to test around with that a bit. That feels like it's much more turned him into a map, even more of like map control, because he can just go around the entire map, right? Until he eventually gets a hit on someone, and then he's an M1 kill for 20 seconds, and then back at it again. Perk updates. Save the best for last. Alright. This perk inducted became stronger with the successful basic attack cooldown was reduced some time ago. Certain kills can also circumvent the downside by using the special attacks to injure the obsession. To tone it down and make it more consistent across all killers, we made the following changes. Each token grants a stackable 4% decreased successful basic attack cooldown was 5%. That's fine. 2 tokens are lost when the obsession loses the health state by any means. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about this now. The fact that you could save tokens was what actually made this perk really good on quite a few killers. Because having that fast cooldown speed would mean nothing if you just always lose it to the obsession, because you're just not gonna... You can't really keep them that effectively with the obsession still in the game, basically. So this feels like it incentivizes kind of tunneling the obsession out to a degree, so you have to... Or like get them low, like ready to be fucking dealt with, then try and get some stacks and then get them out of the... I don't know. I don't like that change. I feel like what they needed to do was the stack up a 4% instead of 5%. So instead of, since you could get 8 total stacks, you know, that's losing an 8% benefit, which was honestly would have been enough, bring close enough to how it was before. I feel like they did not need to make it so the obsession loses the house state by any means. Especially because this is going to affect some killers very weirdly. For example, Trapper. You know, obsession can be healthy, walks in a trap, they're now injured. You're in chase them and didn't even do anything to them, or anywhere near them. Bada bing, but bro, if the obsession has like the Nick Cage perk, that you just fucking kill yourself with, bro, you can make the killer lose stacks. That I don't feel like that's a good thing. Plot twist, there we go. Plot twist. I don't feel like it should be a good thing that even survivors can, like, do that or other stuff. I don't know. I don't think that's a good change. I don't think that's a good change at all. Grim Embrace blocks generators for a substantial duration, however, only activates once and requires the killer to hook every survivor once. It can be inconsistent and hard to activate, therefore we're adding a secondary effect on top of it. The first time each survivor is hooked, all generators are blocked for 8, 10, 12 seconds once the killer moves at least 16 meters from the hook. Woo! Hell yeah. No, that's a really good perk now. Because that means you're consistently, you get 12 seconds after hooking someone and moving away from them. So it's not even, you've hooked them, you have to actually move away from them out of 60 meters, which is a really healthy change for both ways, because it incentivizes not camping, but since you're already heading towards the generator, it actually means you're losing out on less time of being blocked. That's 12 seconds, it's going to force people off gens. And that, I mean, think about it, that stacks up. That's 12 seconds they can't do gens 4 times. At a maximum, and then it activates after that 4th time, because this is on top of the existing effect, right? Then it's going to still activate Grim Embrace after those 12 seconds, I assume, blocking all the gens again. This is going to be a really good slowdown now for high mobility killers. I don't know if this is going to be great on some low mobility killers, but like high mobility killers are really going to get a lot of value out of this. That is a strong effect. Quick Gambit. This perk granted other survivors a repair speed boost when you're being chased nearby. However, its range is fairly low, making it difficult to get close enough for other survivors to benefit. It's now 36 meters, and the repair speed bonus has actually been nerfed. Honestly, this perk just, in my opinion, needs a rework. It's not a healthy concept in the first place. Ruin. Alright. Ought to be disabled by being cleansed. Alright, good. It does not... The disabling once someone was killed was really useless. This makes Ruin a lot better. Still not what anywhere it used to be, but it's not bad either. There's new FFV. Blind by any means gains 6 to 8 to 10% haste for 10 seconds. Whatever. Likewise, FFV altering effects are monitored boost and unnecessary. So it's just been removed and left the terror radius effect unchanged. Okay. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Ormond gameplay update. The newly renovated Mount Ormond Resort is open for the season. This update consists of layout changes in front and back of the lodge, as well as miscellaneous loop adjustments. The front of the lodge currently has a long row of rocks stretching across it. This can get in the way and make it difficult to traverse the map. Additionally, there is no room in this portion of the map for any windows or pallets, making it a bit dead zone. Giving this portion of the map an overhaul to create a more interesting gameplay. Cool, that's good. The back of the lodge, meanwhile, is comprised mostly of picnic tables, great for enjoying a meal in the freezing cold, but not very impactful when it comes to gameplay. Pallet loops on these tables are fairly short, making them incredibly unsafe. We've simply adjusted this area to improve gameplay. Okay. Wait, gameplay modifiers? Whilst this not in the upcoming PTP, our first limited time modifier, dip it lights out. Oh. Wait. So they're also teasing that they are now going to be doing gameplay modifiers to be able to modify, like... So is this going to be like is this like the first tease of a possible game mode in a sense? Which is a modifier, which I'm assuming is going to be almost like bringing back those darkening offerings. I don't know if I'm going to like this one because it's probably going to be very stealth-based. This is killer. I might enjoy a Survivor. Who knows? Ooh. So overall, let me give my summary on the thoughts here real quick and just summarize everything. The change to generators, I think, is a healthy change overall. I don't think it's going to be terribly impactful in main gameplay, looking over it. I think the most impactful is that base kicking actually removes more, so it incentivizes that more from a killer perspective, and Ruin is going to look real enjoyed by... utilizing it here, because keep in mind, I think that The perk removes at least 2.5% of the generator's progress. Wait a minute, hold on. In an instant, yeah. So Ruin completely bypasses these regression events. So it is going to be the only regression perk in the game that is able to keep regressing a gen without having to worry about this. Meaning Ruin is probably going to make a comeback, especially with its buff now that it is no longer destroyed when someone dies. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be running Ruin again in their builds to try and keep it up and active because it's going to provide more consistent regression while you're being able to not have to circumvent this if they're still trying to 3-gen. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that, but Ruin is cleansable and it's not that strong in its current form that I think this will be fine overall. It actually might be a healthy change for the game, bringing that back into circulation, because it's a perk that has actual counterplay and ability to stop it in a sense. Unlike some other perks like Eruption, which you, as a survivor, can't do anything other than not go down, which you will do eventually. So overall, not a bad change. FOV settings, based. Unreal. Most of these changes don't seem that bad. I'm really worried about locking Condemned progress in. I think this is still going to lead to Unreal being an incredibly boring and unfun killer to go against, whose entire gameplay mechanic is going to revolve around stacking this Condemned, locking it in at high values, so that it can almost always get you killed later on. I think this is going to incentivize tunneling on her more than current, because currently you're not really incentivized to tunnel. With her, you're just incentivized to never hook anyone. Now it's going to be hook someone at high, tunnel them out, repeat. And I think this is still going to be very unhealthy changes. I don't know about that one, Chief. I'm not sure. Billy update is like an absolute W. I think everything here sounds fucking beautiful. Basically, you know, Billy, he deserved it, man. I'm so glad to see Billy coming back with some good changes. Blight add-on changes. Honestly, they've taken away a decent chunk of his problematic add-ons. He still has some very good add-ons. Some of these are still pretty good, and some new ones that definitely need to be checked out to see how good they are. These could be still really good add-ons. Honestly, Blight changes are a W, I'd say. In my current form, at least. Save the best for last feels like it was unnecessarily nerfed. And honestly, I feel like they did not need to over-nerf it as much as they did. Grim Embrace seems like a great change, actually making a perk worth running these days. Quick Gambit, honestly, its effect is already so mid as it fucking is. Literally, the repair speed benefit you get is less than Resilience by nearly half. I see no reason for actively running this perk at all. As you shouldn't be running people around generators that are being currently worked on. The killer can just go over there, press that gen. It's a bad concept. This perk really just needs a rework. Hex Ruin, it's a good change. Shadowborn, I think it's just honestly like a very mid. I don't. It's not a good effect overall, honestly. Like 10% haste for 10 seconds is a very strong effect. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think this is a very great perk into adding in. It's very inconsistent when it ever will activate because it requires blinds. And honestly, kind of like sometimes it's going to be pretty useless. Other times it might, like, after you flashlight save someone, especially an M1 killer, you're going to be able to catch up that person real quick. And it just feels like it almost wastes the point of a flashlight save. But then again, you have to bring this perk. No one's going to, I don't know. This just feels like a... I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about this. Monitor not being really changed other than the FOV adjustment being moved. Cool. Gameplay update for Ormond. I really hope this does mean that, so, because the thing is, Ormond had some very good loops in it, some very bad loops. It seems like hopefully they're just evening things out to be more, like, uniform, which is good. And then the game modifier thing isn't going to be here, but hey, cool. Cool beans. So there you go. That's the changes. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, come in for those patch reviews. You should be seeing some Dead by Daylight gameplay soon, as I will be there on PTB for damn sure. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.